So wanna go, little baby, you can't fuck me up. Chia.
And here we go.
What's going on, everybody? What is going on? Happy Thursday. Club going up on a Thursday. Hope everyone's having a great Thursday. I appreciate everyone stopping by to watch the stream. Means everything to me, as I'll always say. Crazy. I appreciate you guys so much. Please leave a like on the stream if you have not already. And let's get into it. Pitts, Loveland, Pierce, Christian Watson, Woody, Mooney. I'll go Pitts, Pierce. All right. How's everyone doing? What's up? Make sure you guys hit that like button. What's up? Let's go. Happy Thursday. Big trade question incoming. I can feel it. The season is flying by, facts. It's crazy how far we are already deep into the season. Crazy. And it's good to know that a lot of you guys are still live in fantasy. Keeping it chucking. Bo Nix or Sam Darnold, 6-point passing touchdown. I just have to go Bo. Do I think that Sam Darnold is a bad play? No, but I would lean with Bo. Sure. What's up, everyone? What's up, Spock? How you doing, man? Debo or Diggs? If there's no Kayshon Boutte for sure, I still think I would lean Debo. How you doing, Spock? Nick sings like an angel. That's a fact. Nix over Darnold. I agree with you. Harvey over Pierce. I would go Harvey. Oh, man. I think I would go Pierce just because it's way safer, to be honest with you. Got to start two. Sutton, Rome, Ladd, and Diggs. I'm gonna go Rome and Sutton. I got Rome 10, Sutton 9. I got Ladd 12. And I got Diggs 22. Steven Reyna, thank you so much for the super chat. 2-part question. Darnold or Williams? CD on a bye. Starting Diggs, Nico Collins, a T-Mac. Should I start DJ Moore over any of them? Great question. So Darnold versus Caleb Williams. Now, Caleb Williams was a very big, hot topic discussion last week for anyone that was watching the streams or watching the videos. I had a lot of questions about Caleb Williams. There was a lot of people coming after me for continuing to rank Caleb Williams high, despite the fact that Caleb Williams hasn't been producing. But in fantasy football, to me, a lot of it really is just all the matchup. I understand that it's not always going to work, but he has had some great matchups, and not all of them worked. But last week, he had a great matchup, and it actually worked, right? For, 4 out of his last 4 games, all 4 games have been very easy coming out the bye. Washington, New Orleans, Baltimore, Cincinnati. He's been the quarterback 10, 27, 20, and obviously quarterback 1 last week in that game up against the Bengals. So this week's matchup up against the Giants on paper is the 7th best matchup for quarterbacks on a per game basis. Whereas when we're talking about the matchup of Sam Darnold's matchup, he is going up against the Arizona Cardinals. The Cardinals defense ranks 25th in best quarterback matchup. So personally, I would go with Caleb Williams. Now, I understand that Caleb's range of outcomes is way more diverse compared to Sam Darnold. What I mean by that is Caleb Williams has legitimately the upside to go completely bust, even in a great matchup like this, and be like the quarterback 28, whereas whereas Sam Darnold's floor is probably, even in a tough matchup like this, like he's still probably going to be a top 18, top 20 quarterback. So in my opinion, I think if you want to be as safe as possible, you go with Sam Darnold. I think this has the potential of being a higher scoring game, but Caleb versus the Giants. I mean, you already know as long as Caleb locks in, that should be a high scoring game. So I would personally go with Caleb Williams, even though he is more risky. And then what else after that? Caleb Williams, and then so CD on a bye, starting Diggs, Nico Collins at T Mac. Should I start DJ Moore over any of them? That's a good question as well. Now, DJ Moore absolutely exploded last week. He threw a touchdown to Caleb Williams. What are the odds that that happens again? Maybe because it's up against the Giants. I mean, anything could happen. I don't think anyone is watching Giants games and is super duper scared of the defense. So I have Nico Collins ranked top 14. Nico Collins to me is a must start every single week. This week he goes up against the Jaguars, which is going to be a matchup on paper that we like, the 12th best matchup. I understand that Davis Mills is not as good as CJ Stroud. I understand the offensive line sucks. I understand there's a lot of bad things going around for Nico Collins, but I'm not sitting Nico Collins, right? Just like I'm not sitting Diggs when it seems like we're not gonna have Kayshon Boutte. The biggest question would be T Mac versus DJ Moore. And I actually have DJ Moore ranked one spot ahead of T Mac. I am a little bit lower on T Mac compared to consensus. I think T Mac might be more consistent. I still have these guys as like low end wide receiver twos, but if it's my team, man, if it's my team, I think I'm gonna go Caleb with DJ Moore with the stack. I'm gonna go Diggs and Nico Collins. Thank you for the super chat. Dave Harvey, thank you for the super chat. Washington, Dez or Dez, like we're talking about Dez Bryant in 2025. Tez, Parker Washington, or Zach Charbonnet. Now, Zach Charbonnet to me is just kind of out of the equation. Zach Charbonnet is really just a break glass in case of emergency type of start. And that's not because I think that Zach Charbonnet is a bad player. It's just because the fact that he doesn't get a lot of touches and his touches are high value opportunities. So he could score 20 plus points, but he's not very safe, right? Whereas I feel like Tez Johnson on paper would be a much safer asset. You're just going to hope that coming out the bye week, Baker looks a lot better because if Baker just locks in and plays remotely decent, a guy like Tez Johnson could be a top 18 ish wide receiver, especially if the game is higher scoring up against the Patriots. Now, I like Parker Washington. And it does kind of suck that we can't tout him higher this week. But when we're talking about a matchup that's the 29th best matchup for wide receivers, and we're talking about a quarterback, Trevor Lawrence, to me, it just seems like a pretty risky. So I would go with Tez Johnson up against the Patriots. Robert, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. That's from 707. So if you put your question underneath, I will look for it. Robert, make sure you put your question in chat, unless you already did, because I'm looking for it. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button if you're new. If you are new, we always answer the super chat questions first, and then we get to the regular questions. We will always answer the regular questions as well. All right, Robert, make sure you put your question in chat. If it didn't let you, you might be trying to put in like a bracket or parentheses, anything like that, and then it'll just block you from typing the question sometimes because YouTube just for some reason doesn't like that. But make sure you leave your question. I have your name on here, so I'll be able to find your question. And if anyone sees this question, let me know. Let me know. RJ, thank you for the super chat. Knicks or DJ? And Gadsden, Tyler Warren, J.K. Dobbins, sit one. Knicks or DJ? Knicks or DJ? I got Bo Nix as QB. Bo Nix is my QB 7. Daniel Jones, quarterback 10. So I'd lean with Bo Nix. Just feels a little bit safer. And then Gadsden, Tyler Warren, J.K. Dobbins, sit 1. Those are 3 guys you really want in your lineup. I'm definitely playing Gadsden. I think DJ Moore might get the boot. I mean, not DJ Moore. J.K. Dobbins might get the boot. But the problem is, like, the Falcons are a tough matchup for Tyler Warren. It's the worst matchup for tight ends, even though I'm still playing Tyler Warren for most of you guys. And I think you'd be foolish to sit him for a majority of you. I'm gonna go Knicks. I'm gonna go Gadsden, and I'm gonna go J.K. Dobbins. I'm gonna leave Tyler Warren on my bench. As gross as that sounds, I think Tyler Warren sadly has to be the odd man out, just really due to the matchup. I think J.K. Dobbins should pretty clearly bounce back. Thank you, Jordan, for the super chat. Make sure you throw your question in chat. Also going to continue to look for Robert's question as well. So, Robert, if you have your question, please drop it in chat. Um, I hate how YouTube does this sometimes. It happened last stream too, where I just completely blocked someone's question, and it is super frustrating as someone that wants to answer your questions, right? I don't just want your super chat money and run away with it, right? So I'm gonna keep looking for Robert's question. Jordan's question. Thank you, Jordan, for the super chat. Thank you, Wesley, as well. Viva la Brazil. Viva Brazil. Brother, if you think I can read what the hell you said, I will Google Translate it, though, actually. Olave or Rome Odunze? Great question. Now, Rome Odunze just absolutely destroyed you guys. Anyone that had Rome Odunze is so frustrated. I had Rome Odunze on 2 teams, and I lost because of it, right? And that really hurts. That's something that you may never forget because, you might not make the playoffs this season potentially for some of you because Rome Odunze screwed the pooch. Could be the case for one of my fantasy teams as well. I was in like a must-win game, and Rome Odunze really screwed me. DK Metcalf screwed me. They formed an Eiffel Tower above me, but I'm still going with Odunze. I love the matchup up against the Giants in terms of a matchup for wide receivers. This is going to be the 7th best matchup for wide receivers. So while I think Olave is a little bit safer, the Panthers matchup is 27th best, so it's not as ideal. I think you kind of just have to bite the bullet on on Rome Odunze. I know it sounds disgusting. I know you probably don't want to have Rome Odunze in your starting lineup after what happened last week, but you just have to, close your eyes and just think back to, hey, what happened not last week? What happened a week before that, right? Where he was 7 of 10 for 114 yards as the wide receiver 8, right? You just kind of have to close your eyes, forget about it, and fast forward to this week. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to forget about it. I know it sucks, but I'm trading away. I'm not trading away. I'm going with the Dunze over Olave. Wesley, thank you for the super chat. Definitely a Dunze over Olave. I know it sounds disgusting. Roma Dunze is currently listed as questionable, so for some reason, like he didn't play, but he returned to practice on Thursday, so I'm not going to worry about that. It's a Dunze. It's a Dunze over Olave. Wesley, my man, thank you for the super chat. I appreciate you. Should I chance Judkins or play Genty tonight? That's a good question. Let's just read about. Everything I've seen about Judkins points towards he's playing. I haven't seen anything that is indicative that Quinshon Judkins is going to be out. Haven't seen anything about that. It says here Quinshon Judkins' shoulder not on injury report. Who are the Broncos playing tonight? The Raiders. Unless you want me to scream the Raiders, which I just probably won't do because we're on stream. We try to keep it, a little bit safer. Maybe I'll scream Raiders at the end of the stream for everyone that stays, because I'm like some fucking circus act here, Quinshon Judkins' shoulders practicing in full for week 10 ahead of the Jets, not listed on the injury report. So it's basically just your opinion on do you want Genty or Judkins in your lineup? I would not worry about him missing. My gut tells me to play Quinshon Judkins. Should be a close game up against the New York Jets in MetLife. I don't think there's going to be a game that really gets out of hand for either team. It kind of feels like a real slow, low-scoring game, right, where maybe Justin Fields messes something up, and then, oh my gosh, Dylan Gabriel is in perfect position. Now he threw a pick. Kevin Stefanski gave up his play calling to the offensive coordinator. If I'm the offensive coordinator, I would probably just be like, hey, let's give the ball to, our better players. Which would be Judkins. So I think Judkins should have a good game against the Jets. If Genty was in a different matchup, I would be heavily, hitting him with the Gawk 9000 special because I think Genty is going to be a lot better now that it seems like the offense may have figured things out with Brock Bowers, making things better. But this is the 26th best matchup for running backs. I think Geno is going to be on the struggle bus. I think they're going to be down. So while, I still have Genty as a top 15 running back. So, you're not going to sit, for most of you guys, you're playing him, but I would play Judkins ahead of Genty 100%. Robert, thank you for the super chat. Just traded Devontae Smith and Tracy for Bucky. Did I mess up? No. As long as Bucky comes back, you are fine. Now, in my opinion, all of this stuff about Bucky Irving is very, very, very dicey. And what I mean by this is it doesn't seem like we're going to be getting a lot of information week in and week out, right? He was not practicing on Thursday. Irving hasn't played since week 4, and week 9 was the bye was not good enough to get him on the practice field. 2 DMPs to open the week as a guarantee they miss another game. Okay, and then is there anything else? Jeremy Fowler thinks the Buccaneers are thinking late November or December for Gibson, and Godwin, and he thinks that Bucky is going to sit out as well. I mean, as long as Bucky Irving comes back, I think you fleece that guy. I think you make out like a bandit because when healthy, while I like Devontae Smith's play, he's very up and down. Bucky should be a very consistent top 12 running back piece for you, but he's coming off of an injury, and we're not getting a lot of news. So while I do like Bucky Irving a lot, it definitely feels like a bit of a risky trade. It feels risky, but I think it's fine. Personally, if it's my team, gun to the head, Nick, do you want Devontae Smith, Devontae Smith and Tracy, or Bucky? I would want Bucky, and we just got to hope Bucky comes back soon. Soon. Harley Ryder, my man, thank you for the super chat. My dog, I need a flex. I appreciate you. Gadsden, Keenan Allen, Vidal, Kincaid, or Monty, thanks for the advice, or thanks in advance, no problem. So one of my biggest concerns really is with it's I want to play Vidal. And that really concerns me because last week, dude, I was all over Kamani Vidal and everyone started him. And look, if you're going to get mad at me for telling you to start someone in a bad matchup and they do bad, I get it, right? I get being mad at me. But if I tell you to start a running back in a great matchup and they shit the bed, I don't think you can really be mad at me because all of the chakras aligned on paper for it to work. Sure, it didn't work. Sure, I was very wrong. And I will acknowledge when I'm wrong. I'm not going to be someone that's on here that's like, oh, I'm right about every single thing. That would just be a lie, right? That'd be crazy. If I got every single question right that I answered today, that would be crazy, right? But I try to get him as good as possible. He scored 3 fantasy points up against the Titans. Now he gets another matchup that I think it's fine. Like he's going up against the Steelers. It's the 23rd best matchup. It's fine. But again, how confident truly am I when you could just play Gadsden, who has, I believe the Steelers are, they're the 3rd best matchup for tight ends. So while my heart tells me I'm going back to the Vidal and I'm playing Vidal in a lot of leagues because I still believe in him, I would go with Gadsden. I mean, it just seems like the safest play, right? Keenan Allen, I like the Chargers. There's risk with that, right? He's been very up and down. Kincaid, he's still not all the way injected with the snaps. I think he has a good game against the Dolphins, though. Monty, just kind of a floor play. I'm going with the upside that Gadsden provides. He's smashed in 3-4 straight games. I'd got to go Gadsden in PPR. Even though deep down, I feel like Vidal might just score 30 points. I'm going to go with Gadsden personally. That's the guy that I'd feel the best about. It does suck for Vidal, though, that they lost Joe Alt, obviously. I mean, everyone knows that. But yeah, I would go Gadsden for sure. Rocket Man. Keenan or Tucker? General thoughts on Tucker rest of season. My general thoughts on Tucker rest of season are very positive because if Brock Bowers really was, the missing chain link in the fence of this offense, then I think going forward, the Raiders offense might look better. Now, Geno Smith was terrible to start out the season. I was a Geno Smith guy in the summer. I'm not saying that I was like, Geno Smith's a top 12 quarterback in the NFL. That's not who I was. But I think Geno Smith's good, right? Or average at least. Like he's not going to be terrible. Or maybe I don't know exactly what I said in the summer, but I said I think Geno Smith, if he's like your quarterback 2 in a super flex league, you're fine. Basically is what I said, which was wrong. That was very wrong. But it seems like Brock Bowers really is a key piece in this offense, and they lost Jacoby Myers, so I really think Tucker is a good piece to have rest of season. Now, if we're talking about this week, if we're talking about tonight, up against the Denver Broncos, I know they don't have Patrick Surtain, but you are really just rolling the dice so heavily when you don't have to, right? You don't have to. Because while I'm a big fan of Trey Tucker, and I think he has big upside. I mean, we saw him have that big game up against the Commanders earlier on in the year. Are we really betting on that up against the Broncos, who are the worst matchup for wide receivers? I know Surtain isn't there. He's hurt. But it's not like just because Surtain is out, now this is a cupcake mouth-watering matchup. Now, they should be down throwing the ball, so maybe Tucker flukes his way into a good game. I have Tucker as my wide receiver 41. It's a few spots lower than consensus right now. I have him as my wide receiver 41. Expert consensus right now has him as the wide receiver 37. I don't think that's a crazy spot to have him in. Whereas I have Keenan Allen as my wide receiver 24. I understand there's been some pretty big ups and downs with Keenan Allen. And I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there hasn't been, but this is the third best matchup for wide receivers on a per game basis up against the Pittsburgh Steelers. I am certainly going to be starting him in this game, in this spot. It just feels way better. It feels way better than playing Tucker. Even though I like Tucker, I think the smart move would be to stay away. I'm going Keenan Allen, and I do like Tucker rest of season. Red Wings and Jazz fan. Sorry, I almost called you a Jets fan. It's like a curse, worse than death, a feat worse than death. Would be being a Jets fan. And I say that as a Dolphins fan, as if the Dolphins don't absolutely suck and have no future because they have no idea how to draft. Tough scene. Brees, Harvey, or Kyle Monangai, running back to full PPR. Man, oh man. I really wish I could rank Brees higher than I have him ranked. It's nothing against Brees. I am a Brees believer. But, man, that matchup against the Cleveland Browns is brutal. That matchup against the Cleveland Browns is scary. The Cleveland Browns defense is elite against the run, but it should be a close game, a game where they're not getting out and behind, losing, getting pounded to where Brees can't do anything. Harvey, I like because I think it's going to be a blowout. And I think when, the game's going to be a blowout, you would get more Harvey later on in the game. So I think that is a perfectly fine idea, right? To have. Shit, I forgot what I was going to say. Sorry about that. I think it's perfectly fine to assume that this game should be a blowout and that Harvey might score a touchdown late. I think that's fine. But I think Brees Hall is just a much safer bet. Should get a decent amount of targets as well. It's a really tough matchup. But for me, with RJ Harvey, you're hinging on one of his 8 touches, his 8 or 9 touches, maybe even fewer, one of his 6 touches to go to the crib. And if it doesn't go to the crib, you're going to be leaving the game very disappointed. So for me, I would just go with Brees Hall. He feels much safer. If you're sitting here right now, Red Wings and Jazz fan, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to lose my game if I don't swing for the fences, that's the scenario where you play RJ Harvey. But otherwise, I go Brees. Thank you for the super chat, Jordan. Again, I appreciate you. Did you have another question? Or were you just super chatting to be nice? Scroll back up. Pittman or Adunze? Thank you for the super chat. Pittman or Adunze is a great question as well. Man, I have both Pittman and Adunze ranked pretty high this week. I have Pittman 11 and Adunze 10. So it truly is a toss-up. Adunze has the way better matchup. Atlanta is a tough matchup, but Michael Pittman continues to produce. I really, 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 really would find it hard to believe that Rome Odunze shits the bed in back-to-back games. I would be very, very, very shocked if he did. Now, if you're speaking about pure safety, I also don't necessarily think that Michael Pittman Jr. is the most safe guy. We've seen it this season. He's either a locked and loaded top 22 option that could finish as a top 5 wide receiver, or he's so bad you wish you could go back in time and stop yourself from throwing him into your lineup. So, in my opinion, I would just go ahead and play Odunze. I really think Odunze is going to bounce back. I know it's risky. All right. So, yeah, I'm going Odunze. Again, I understand that what Rome did to you last week really sucked, and I played him in a bunch of leagues, but I'm not getting away from that. I am not getting away from that. So we're going to go ahead and play Rome. Rise, what's up, my man? What's up, bro? Rashad White or Sutton in the flex? I got to go Sutton. You cannot sit Cortland Sutton. I like Rashad White. It's a bad matchup for Rashad White. So that's like a bad thing. So I would definitely much rather play Sutton. My only worry here for Sutton really is that they just blow the Raiders out of the water and he's not able to get a lot of opportunities late, but I think he should be fine. So I definitely would go with Sutton. I feel very good about that answer. Like some of these questions, just like what we just discussed, right? With Rome Odunze versus Michael Pittman Jr. I have them ranked back to back. In my flex rankings, I would have Sutton ranked significantly higher than Rachaad White. So definitely going to go that way with Cortland Sutton. Feel way better about that. I hate how when I ban someone, it doesn't fucking remove their comments on the side of the screen. As if I banned a real person. It was the bot. We used to get the titty bots in chat, which was always funny. Definitely Cortland Sutton for me, rise above everything. I love you long time. I appreciate you. One dose creator, my man. Thank you for the super chat. Start Franklin, Rachaad White, Jamison Williams, or Pierce. Great question. Now, Jamison Williams to me is kind of just out of the equation because I don't trust him at all. Like, how can you? How can you have watched what he's done this season and trust him? Now, you can play him, right? But I also don't think a game against the Commanders is the kind of game, I do too, Tyron, where you get into like a firefight to where a guy like JMO actually pays off, right? A guy like JMO pays off when it's a back and forth game, when maybe they're losing and they're heaving the ball up deep, and then JMO scores a touchdown or two, right? And has that big game. I'm not denying that that's impossible against the Commanders, but it's much less likely with Marcus Mariota under center. So I would just kind of cancel him out. For me, it's between Franklin. It would be between Franklin, Rachaad White, and Jameson Williams. I have Franklin as my wide receiver 28. I've got Alec Pierce, wide receiver 34. And my running back ranking for Rachaad White is 17. It's a tough matchup, though, up against the Patriots. For me, I think I would lean with Troy Franklin tonight. Just because I think he's the clear number 2 weapon on this team at the wide receiver position. And, I mean, the guy had how many targets last week? 10, 8, 10 targets over the last 3 weeks. So 8+ targets, 3 straight games. I'm going to go with the upside of Troy Franklin. If you truly just want a safe option, I would just play Rachaad White because he'll get you like a guaranteed 10 points. But I'm going Franklin. Breece Hall or Genty rest of season. I think I would rather have Genty. Again, just because I don't really see the Jets offense truly being able to elevate a guy like Breece Hall. I thought entering into the year, maybe the defense. I liked Breece Hall in the summer because, frankly, I thought the defense would be better than what we have seen on the field. So not only did I think the defense would be better, I thought that the Justin Fields would play a little bit better. The offense would be more consistent. I'm not a Breece Hall hater. If you have Breece Hall on your team, it's fine, right? He sees some dump off opportunities too. So he's not necessarily a guy that's like dust. But when you trade away Sauce, you trade away their other defensive player, Williams, it just to me seems like they don't give a fuck, right? They really don't care about winning. They're going to be down in a lot of games. Genty is significantly safer. I know the Raiders aren't like the textbook definition of a perfect team, right? And I think Genty could possibly shit the bed tonight because they're just getting plowed out and the Broncos are a bad matchup. But in a lot of matchups the Raiders will have, I think Genty will be able to overcome this. So I like Genty. I'd prefer Genty rest of the season. You like when I sing Sunday night? I appreciate that. There's been a lot of haters in the comment section, not people that actually hate me, but that hate my singing. Of course, I'm not good at singing. Shocker. I just do it because I think it's fun. It's just a nice, fun time, okay? You've got to chill out. But yeah, Genty over Breeze rest of the season. Jared, thank you for the super chat. Mr. Penguin, Flex Harvey seems really good. Or Vidal, Diggs, or Tracy. I am not touching Tyrone Tracy with a 10-foot pole. I kind of bent the knee in the running back video and ranked him higher than I wanted to. But let me tell you, fuck him facts. Who hates your singing? It's funny. But yeah, I agree. I do think Harvey feels good. Harvey definitely feels better than Tracy. Tyrone Tracy should get the first crack at it, but if he struggles, they're going to use Devin Singletary, and you're going to be pissed. I'm not touching him with the 10-foot pole. Diggs, I really want to be all over Diggs' balls. Like I want Diggs to go crazy. Like I think he can. I think he's the clear best wide receiver on that team. And if the Buccaneers are able to push the agenda into a higher scoring game, I think he could have a big game. Man, oh man. This is a good question. This is a really good question. I think I've talked myself into Diggs because we're assuming that Kayshon Boutte is out. And I'm just going to read one more time about that. Sidelined again on Thursday. So him not practicing in back-to-back weeks basically means he's out. Yeah, back-to-back days basically means he's out. Even if he gets a limited in, I wouldn't guarantee. And even if he is in with a hamstring injury, like that could just mean he's limited with his snaps. So I think I would go Diggs. I really want to keep playing Vidal, but Vidal just doesn't have a good matchup, so I'd go Diggs. I would go Diggs. I will tell you though right now, if you are feeling Harvey, you want to play RJ Harvey Dent, you're feeling it, go with your gut feeling. Say this all the time. You'll feel 100% better if I tell you, hey, it is a hard question, Jared. If I was to be like, hey, I would go Diggs, but in your head, you're like, oh, dude, I really want to play Harvey, then go ahead with Harvey. I will tell you right now, if they really bend the offense into Kayshawn told me in Discord that he probably won't play this week. Yeah, Kayshawn is a Discord guy. If you guys haven't seen that, like on Twitter, I didn't know. I don't know what Discord you are in to talk to him, but he is a Discord guy. I've seen multiple reports of him reporting on how healthy he is from his Discord, which I like. Respect to him. And speaking of Discord, join the best Discord, which is my Discord that Spock runs. I'm in there too, but I'll give Spock all the credit. He made it. Check it out. It's in the description. Spock always puts the link in there. Link's in there right now. But yeah, if your gut feeling is Harvey, go right ahead. Go right ahead and play him. Again, it's just very difficult for me to say definitively that I love him tonight because of the fact, that the amount of touches he gets just isn't high enough. And even if this is a real blowout, I wouldn't project him to get like 15 touches, right? I think that seems a little bit high. So go ahead and play Harvey if you want. That's fine with me. Personally, my gut says Diggs. So I would lean Diggs. That's my team. Chief Perp, thank you for the super chat. Flex, Bowers, Waddle, Rome, Nico, Debo. Dart or May? I mean, this is the kind of question, man, where this is a good question. This is like a impossible question. And why I say it's impossible is because I don't want to sit Bowers. I don't want to sit Waddle. I don't want to sit Rome. I don't want to sit Nico. I'm fine sitting Debo. But I don't want to sit 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 out of those 5 guys. I don't want to sit. So we're going to take the easy way out here. And we're going to answer Dart or May first, right? We're going to take the easy question, the layup. We'll take the layup first, and then we'll get real deep into this. I got Drake May 3, and I got Dart 5. I like them both. I'd lean with Dart, just a lot more. I'd lean with Drake May, just a little bit more consistent, in my opinion. I feel better about Drake May, so I'd go Drake May, and then again, it's truly a dice roll. I'm gonna eliminate Brock Bowers, even though I love Brock Bowers, just because his matchup is tough. So like you can just diminish him in this scenario, even though you want to play Brock Bowers. Like, how the fuck is Brock Bowers not your starting tight end? Who is your other tight end that you have? Like, unless you have Trey McBride, Brock Bowers should be your tight end. But we'll just, throw that under the rug. We won't even talk about that. Waddle, Rome, Nico, Debo. Man. Waddle, Rome, Nico, Debo. I'm going Waddle against Buffalo. Waddle always plays good against Buffalo. Waddle looked good last week, too. Pittman, Flowers, or Dunze. I would go Dunze. And yeah, I'm going Waddle. And I'm going Waddle and May for me. Marvin, what's up, my man? Pick 2 flexes in standard. RJ, Addison, DeMarcado, Vidal, White. Great question. I didn't like what I saw. Yeah, I did see that, Caitlin. That's terrible. Rest in peace to him. We didn't talk about this. Rest in peace to Marshawn Nealand from the Denver Broncos. That's terrible. That is very, very terrible. Very, very sad. Very, very sad. Young guy, too. But, yeah, I would go. I like Addison in a standard league. It's kind of tough, though. JJ McCarthy and him didn't seem to have like this elite 5G LTE connection. Probably going to go Vidal and White. I mean, it just feels the safest, right? Rashad White, I know it's not the best situation because of how the Bucs have looked and how Rashad White has looked, but I think things will get better. I said Dallas Cowboys, I thought. Didn't I? Sorry if I said something wrong. I said Broncos? Jesus Christ. I try to... I have no idea how to speak, so I'm sorry. That's the problem when we're talking about multiple different things. What happened is I said, um, I said Cowboys initially, and then maybe I said Broncos. When I read the question, the first thing I saw was RJ, and RJ Harvey plays on the Broncos. So my bad. Yeah, the guy's not Dallas Cowboys. Sorry if I said that wrong. Rest in peace to him. I would go Vidal and White. Now, I think if you have more balls than I do, you play RJ Harvey and Rashad White. But I think Vidal bounces back. He has a good game, then a bad game, then a good game, then a bad game. Bad game last week. I think he should bounce back this week. Sucks not to have Joe Alt, but I'm going Vidal, and I would go Rashad White. I just think Rashad White also, like, again, I get it's a bad matchup on paper, but he could also just score 2 touchdowns. And if he doesn't rush for fucking 80 yards, it doesn't matter, right? So that's kind of just how I feel. I'm going Vidal and Rashad White. SS Saucy. Give Troy Franklin a shot over DK or Olave. Definitely wouldn't over Olave because Olave is just so safe. I understand last week. Last week, Nick, he wasn't safe. Yeah, I know. I understand. But he's a guy that's going to get you 10 plus targets every single week. So it's a bad matchup last week against the LA Rams. Like, I just feel like things will get better this week. So my gut would be I'm playing DK and Olave just because I don't think DK and Olave are going to back weeks be that bad. If you want to give Troy Franklin a shot over one of them, it would be DK. I have DK 23 and I have Troy Franklin 28. If it's my team, I'm going DK and Olave though. Ed, thank you for the super chat. Sutton or Jalen Warren this week, Kyron or Bucky rest of season. If you can guarantee me health, I will lean with Bucky Irving. If you can guarantee me Bucky Irving is healthy, right? I know he's not coming back this week. Say he comes back next week. He's 100% healthy. I'm going Sutton. I'm going Bucky. But because there are health concerns, you're probably better off having Kyron rest of season. So if there's like a trade where you're like, oh, I'm going to trade Kyron for Bucky, or I'm trading Bucky for Kyron. Right now, I'd prefer to have Kyron. And then Sutton or Jalen Warren, I would lean with Sutton. The only problem with Sutton again is Sutton, they could be up by so much that Sutton just doesn't do anything. But also, you would think if the Denver Broncos get up big early, it's because Cortland Sutton at least scores a touchdown. So for me, I'm going Sutton. Sutton or Warren, it would be Sutton. Kyron or Bucky, it's Kyron just because of the health. Juan Deary 2634. Thank you for the super chat. Caleb or Knicks this week? Slight weather concern. NFL weather. The Bears game is in Chicago. 15-mile-an-hour winds. Gusts of 22. Chance of snow showers. Now, what I'm going to tell you guys right now is weather is one of the most overrated things in fantasy football. And what I mean by that is not remember when the Dolphins game was and there was a monsoon going on where it's like crazy winds, crazy rain. That's not what I'm talking about. Weather is overrated. I'm talking about, oh my gosh, there's 15-mile-an-hour winds and it's snowing a little. That's not a big deal. Now, if there was 40-mile-an-hour wind gusts, if it's that game where the Patriots played the Bills all those years ago with Mac Jones and they couldn't throw the ball at all, there's a big difference between that and normal weather. Now, obviously, does it hurt to have to play with the wind? Yeah, of course it does. But it's not like life or death, right? Caleb Williams isn't completely done for in fantasy football because of that. With that said, Knicks versus Caleb, I'm going with Knicks. I just trust Knicks far more to be a reliable asset for my team in a good matchup than I do with Caleb in a good matchup. Because again, Caleb has had 4 good matchups in a row, and he has performed well twice out of the 4 times, and he's been bad 2 out of the 4 times. So while I did kind of just back talk on what I was talking about, the point, which is don't worry too much about the weather, I definitely would go Knicks over Caleb, though. FZ Ware, thank you for the super chat. Diggs, Washington, Goddard, Flex, PPR. Great question. Now, Parker Washington is a guy that I would love to get hyped about. I would love to bang the drum for Parker Washington. I would love to. I would love to talk about how there's probably not going to be a BTJ. And man, oh man, he's the slot. That's what they say. And that's what Liam Cohen's saying. But it's against the Texans. The Texans are a bad matchup for wide receivers. So while I want to be on the Parker Washington train, I think I'm probably just going to go Diggs again, because if there's no Kayshon Boutte, Diggs just has to be the wide receiver 1 on the team. He just has to be. Now, Goddard has played phenomenal this season, and he's actually been very consistent this season, which is the exact opposite of who Goddard has been in the past, right? Especially when you think about the fact that they have A.J. Brown, they have Devontae Smith, they have Saquon Barkley, they have all these pieces, and still he is very consistent, and he's finding the end zone at a consistent basis. But at some point, the bad game's going to come, right? Especially when his targets are as unreliable as they get. I would go Diggs personally. Started to talk myself more into Diggs. Soul, thank you for being a member to the channel. If anyone wants to become a channel member, you can do that. Link in the, you just click the member thingy. You get priority answers and comments. If you leave a comment, I always answer your comments if you are a member, as long as I remember to check the member page. Pittman, Flowers, or Odunze. Again, this is one of those that is so tough for me. I have Odunze ranked 1 spot ahead of Pittman. I think Pittman is safer, but Pittman has a worse matchup, so I'm going for Odunze. I think it's very hard for me to project that Odunze shits the bed again. I would be really, really shocked if he had 2 atrocious games in a row, so I just have to go with Odunze. The S box, how would you fix my team? It's 3-6, 10th place. Knicks and Stafford, that's good. Collins, Flowers, Franklin, Reed, Washington, Genty, Kamara, Rashad, Monagai, Kittle, Kincaid. It's very simple. What you are going to have to do, and I agree with you, Jordan. You got to go do that. This is very simple. You have to trade one of, if not both of, actually, you have to trade one of your quarterbacks and one of your tight ends. Is that simple. You have to offload them for a more trustworthy wide receiver 2 and a more trustworthy RB2. Once you do that, you will be fine. I would look to trade whoever has more value. Who has more value? In my head, I think Kittle has more value than Kincaid. I would trade Kittle. Do I think that Kittle has more trade value than Kincaid? Yes, but I don't know for sure, because some people just look at what Kittle's done this season and they don't want him, right? So I'm trading. If Nix is worth more than Stafford, I'm trading Nix, because I'm fine rocking with they're 2 of the same for me. Like Nix or Stafford. If you're like I have Stafford rest of the season, that's good with me. I have Nix rest of the season, that's good with me. Same thing with Kittle versus Kincaid. So you 100% have to move both of them to try to get a better wide receiver 2 and a better RB2, especially a running back 2, because once you do, I think your team will be significantly better. I think you actually do have a fine team. It's just Camaro went bust, and Flowers isn't as reliable as you would have wanted to be, and Kittle got hurt. That's really where things went wrong here. So you have to trade one of your quarterbacks and one of your tight ends. That's really the only way you can pull out of this. I don't see a way where you can trade, like, unless you're going to trade Genty for like 2 mid-range RB2s, which I just would not suggest. I'd rather have Genty plus, like, whoever the fuck, like J.K. Dobbins or something, like Kittle for Dobbins, something like that. Like, you don't even necessarily need like some crazy snag, right? Where you just have fleece someone. You don't have to necessarily fleece someone to have a good team. You just need to get rid of one of your quarterbacks, one of your tight ends, and I think your team will look a lot better. A Rav, thank you for the super chat. Hey, Nick, how are you? I'm doing great. Pick 2 running backs. I hope you guys are all doing well as well. Pick 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 flex, 1 tight end. We're going to type this out because it's significantly easier for me to type it out. Monagai, Henderson, Etienne, Jaylen Warren, Harvey, Charbonnet, London, Quentin Johnson, Devontae, Kittle, Goddard, Loveland. Great question. Okay. London and Devontae Smith, lock them in. That is very easy at wide receiver. I don't trust QJ. It's really that simple. You're just avoiding the guy that you don't trust. At running back, I don't want to be playing Monagai because Swift is back. So we're going to play Etienne and Jaylen Warren. That's very easy. Those guys are very safe bets. Very safe bets, right? You're safe bets in a running back. And then at tight end, you're going to go Kittle because you're not sitting Kittle. And then at flex is where we're going to take our biggest risk here. So it depends how risky you want to be. Henderson, I just view as a risk because I don't know if Vrabel really trusts him, even after what we saw last week. I think Charbonnet is very risky, so I'd rather just not even go with him. To me, it's between Henderson, Harvey, and Goddard. And I'm going to go with the most upside. I think Goddard probably has the most upside. So we're going to go London, Devonta, Etienne, Jaylen Warren, Kittle, and Goddard. Lock it in. Now, if you don't want to play 2 Eagles, you just flip Goddard for Henderson. That's how I would do it. Thank you for the super chat. I saw your question. It was right here. Must win for the playoffs. Both my super chats didn't sound right. It's okay. Thank you for the super chats. I appreciate you. Must win for the playoff hopes. Dak on bye. Who do you start? JJ McCarthy, Jordan Love, Mariota, Penix, Brissett, T-Law, Young, Tua, Rodgers, or Gino? Great question. I am going with Jacoby Brissett. I know that sounds fucking disgusting. I know that sounds crazy. It sounds crazy. Nick, you're talking about playing Jacoby Brissett in week 10. It sounds crazy. I know, but I'm doing it. I'm doing it. He's going up against Seattle, and this is a matchup that's mid-range. It's the 17th best matchup for quarterbacks. Jacoby Brissett has played 3 games as the starting quarterback of the Arizona Cardinals. He has been the quarterback 7, 12, and 10. He did it up against Green Bay, which is a tough matchup. Sure, he beat the Cowboys. Easy matchup. Sure, I get it. Did it against the Colts. I don't think that's the easiest matchup ever. So while I think it sounds disgusting to play Jacoby Brissett, and while I fully acknowledge that, and I'm not going to lie to you and be like, oh, I feel so good about playing Jacoby Brissett because I'm not a liar, but I will be a truther. And my truth is I really like Jacoby Brissett. I agree. I agree with you, Joel. 10 team, good team. AJ Brown and Hendy for Agbuka. All right, good team. Now, in my opinion, Henderson is instantly going in the garbage once Ramondre Stevenson returns. That's just my opinion on things. I love Ramondre. I mean, I don't love Ramondre Stevenson. I love Henderson, but I think he's basically useless. Once Ramondre comes back, I don't think it will be a split. Now, if Ramondre misses multiple other games and Henderson starts to really stack up some great games, then is when I think that could happen. But as of right now, my assumption would be that's not going to happen, and Henderson is going to be useless. So the way that I would the haste of which I would click the accept button on this would break the space-time continuum. I would have not even asked it. I would have just hit the answer instantly before the person thinks about it more and realizes that they're screwing themselves over. AJ Brown, 1-for-1, I'm doing AJ Brown for Agbuka, and I don't even view Henderson as a part of the trade, so it's Agbuka. Dave, thank you for the super chat. Baker or Dart? Harvey versus Dobbs versus Loveland for the flex. Also, keep on singing. Fuck the haters. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate that. Baker or Dart? That's a good question. 2 guys I love this week. So, again, questions like this, I'm never going to say you have a bad question. This is not a bad question, so that's not what I mean. Brissett looks like a good pick for those options. I agree with you. No problem, Scott. So my opinion really is, and it was Spock who helped you. I know, stole Spock's thunder. Baker or Dart? They're in the same tier, so it's a great question because it's a tough thing to break down, right? Baker's been really struggling, man. Baker has looked really bad. People were being like, Baker's the MVP. Hell, I bet Baker to win MVP because I like the odds. I don't think he's winning MVP anymore. I think I just flushed $30 down the toilet. But with the amount of bets that I make on a weekly basis, throwing $30 down the toilet's not even remotely shocking. Like I bet I have the University of Miami to win the college football championship, and I can assure you that is not going to happen. I forgot what school the quarterback went to. I think it's Oklahoma. John Mater, I believe his name is. I bet him to win the Heisman. I'm not even kidding. That same day I bet him to win the Heisman, he got hurt and missed like the next 3 games. So I've been really unlucky this season. But yeah, I would go with Jackson Dart. I would go Jackson Dart. Very reliable this season. Baker has been reliable too, but recently not so much. And it's a tougher matchup up against the Patriots. So I think I just trust Dart more. Feels like a higher scoring type of game. So I would go Dart. And then Harvey versus Dobbs versus Loveland. The fact that Cole Kmet is seemingly back, Cole Kmet, Roto World, is not a strong indication for Colston and Loveland. Now it's fine. Like I still have him ranked top 12 at tight end because the tight end landscape is just so brutal in fantasy football this year that if you just saw a guy rip off 30 points, like you kind of just have to go back to him and just hope he can rekindle some of that magic. And I still think he'll be the tight end 1 going forward for the team. But I would just go Dobbs. He's just kind of the layup. He's the clear wide receiver 1 in Green Bay. If that game against the Eagles becomes high scoring, I could see Dobbs potentially scoring a touchdown or 2. He's just the safest bet of them all. So I would go with Dart and I would go with Dobbs. Is Kmet healthy for this week? Yeah, he practiced in full today with the concussion. So my assumption would be yes. So yeah, I'm going to go Dobbs. I'm going to go Dart. Kazian, thank you for the super chat. We're going to go a little bit quicker because we're behind. Trade McBride for London and Kittle or Goddard. My wide receivers are CeeDee Lamb, Waddle, DK, Tet, Pearsall. Running backs are A-Chain, Judkins, Harvey, Monagai. I am 5-4. I mean, my gut says yes. That seems hard to decline, but the problem with accepting that is if Kyler Murray doesn't come back, I mean, McBride's just going to rip off 20 points every single week. Him and Brissett have like an elite touchdown connection. And it's crazy because for years I've talked about how like, oh, dude, it can't be Kyler, right? It has to be McBride's fault that he can't score, right? It just has to be. How can he not? How can he be, a guy that's locked out of the end zone? And the reason why I thought this was because if you go back to college, he wasn't scoring touchdowns either at where do you go? Colorado State University, the Rams, right? How the hell? It just made perfect sense. He's not a touchdown guy. But now, man, so if every week the thing is you have such a good team that I think I would decline. For a lot of people, this is an easy yes. Very easy yes. But when you're starting CD and Waddle every single week, you are starting A-Chain and Judkins every single week. Your flex is going to be Warren or DK probably every week, and you have Ricky who's coming back eventually. I don't think I can do this. I mean, realistically, if your team wasn't this good, the answer would obviously be yes. But I think that Kittle or Goddard is such a strong downgrade from McBride, whereas McBride is like a weekly 20-plus points. So if you want to do this, I'm not going to sit here and argue with you back and forth and be like, you're an idiot if you take this trade. I think this is a good trade. Like, I think it's fine to do. But starting London and CD every game, yes, I know. But then you're starting Kittle every game or you're starting Goddard every game. Oh, man. It's just so tough. It is just so tough. He has so many good receivers. He has so many good running backs. It's tough. I would say no. And again, if you want to do this trade, you go right ahead and do it. If you're getting London, it's fine. It's fine, but I'd prefer McBride personally. Based on the team you have, I'd prefer McBride. Denver or Browns defense? Great question. This is another one of these. Thank you, Andrew. Where you're gonna be, if you play Denver tonight and they only score 10 fantasy points, you're gonna be like knocking yourself because the Browns could score 15 fantasy points. But you're playing like, oh man, Gino looked so good. Yeah, you can, Kalen. Gino looked so good last week. Like the Broncos are the best defense in the NFL. I understand losing PS2 Patrick Surtain for the next couple of weeks. It sucks. Like I'm not gonna act like it's good, but no problem. But yeah, if it's my team, I'm playing Denver. I'm not overthinking this. Like this is one of the classic scenarios where you will overthink it. By the way, if you wanted to do that trade, you go ahead and do it, but I would lean with no. So yeah, I'm going with the Broncos defense. I'm not galaxy braining this. I think that's like a question where you can really, really, really overthink it. Jordan, thank you for the super chat from 746. Rico, Josh, Jacobs, or Achane, pick two, trading the other. Great question. So this is just not a week question. This is just rest of season. Who do I want? Rico, Jacobs, or Achane? The odd man out is Jacobs. The odd man out for me is Jacobs. Now, I think if we're speaking strictly on who do I believe is the safest bets going forward, I think Jacobs may be slightly safer than Achane. Because of Achane's frame, the injury risk is just a little bit more. Now, I'm not a doctor. I'm not going to claim like, oh, Achane's getting hurt. But the Dolphins also kind of suck. They don't kind of suck. They really suck. But even with the suck, Achane's been good. So if it's my team, I'm keeping Achane, and there's no Dolphins bias. It's just because, I mean, they're both such big upside players. It's crazy to say that Rico, that I would have Rico ranked ahead of Jacobs and Achane, but it's true. It's true. The team wants Rico to be the guy, and unless Rico gets hurt, he's going to keep being the guy, and he has been scoring so many fantasy points. And maybe Rico has the highest trade value because of that, but I'm not getting rid of Rico. I'm getting rid of Josh Jacobs. That's a tough question because I love all three guys, but Josh Jacobs is getting his bags packed because Emmanuel Wilson looks fine too. And like Josh Jacobs is a guy where you really need the touchdowns, right? Achane, if he doesn't score a touchdown, you're fine because he's caught enough passes. Rico, Rico's just scoring fucking touchdowns. The guy lives in the end zone. So as crazy as this sounds, we're getting rid of Josh Jacobs. We're keeping Achane and we're keeping Rico. Rico is a beast. I agree with you. Rob, thank you for the super chat. Rob Castle. He says he needs 2. Shakir, Tucker, and Shaheed. I'm Rashid Shaheed. It is a sick fever dream. I'm going Shakir and Shaheed. Again, Tucker really is only off my radar, like as a sit because of the matchup. The only real worry is with Shaheed is how much did they use him in his first game back? But as a receiver, we've seen like you can get traded and fucking pop off instantly, especially when you have the whole week. No problem, Jordan. So for me, I'm going Shakir just because I think he's a safe bet against the Dolphins. Like he's a nice floor play. He should not really screw the pooch for you. He could have a big game too because the Dolphins are just bad, you know. And realistically, like I want the Dolphins to lose, which is a bad spot to be in because now that I want us to lose, I know for sure this is just the stupid year where you beat the Bills, right? When you don't need to, right? This is the kind of year where we beat the Bills, right? Not when, oh, you're the number one team in the AFC East. You get to play the games at home. But no, you play the fucking Bills at home in week 18, you lose, right? That's what happened a few years ago. That's what would, but now we'll beat the Bills for no reason, right? That kind of worries me. That's like something that really scares me because I want us to lose, as sad as that might be. Okay, thank you. That's who I have starting along with Jefferson. Yeah, so I would go Shakir and Shaheed. Only because of Tucker's matchup. If Tucker was in a better matchup, we'd be banging the drum for him. But I'm going Shaheed and Shakir. Rudy, thank you for the super chat. Dobbins or Jones Sr.? Let's read up on Aaron Jones real quick. It's going to be Dobbins, but I just want to read up about Aaron Jones real quick. Aaron Jones, limited on Thursday. He seems to be trending in the right direction against the Ravens. Minnesota has struggled to run the ball. Baltimore is playing more physically over the last few games, using Kyle Hamilton in the box, considering the risk of re-injury. He's in the borderline RB2, RB3 role. That makes sense. So, yeah, I mean, I would have him ranked ahead of Jordan Mason. I made the running back video earlier today. I posted it, I think, at like 6:30. And I was, not the highest on Jordan Mason. I'd be lying if I was like, oh, man, you're so high on Jordan Mason. I'm not. But I thought Jordan Mason was fine up against the Ravens without Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is definitely the guy you would want over Jordan Mason. But the injury thing is concerning in its own. Dobbins, while I understand that he has been bad in 3 straight games for fantasy, he has looked good on the field. He's got a good matchup up against the Raiders, and he could score. So, gun to the head, I think I would go Dobbins. I'm going Dobbins. I think he bounces back this week. Riaz, my man, thank you for the super chat. Definitely Dobbins over Jones, just because of the fact that Jones is banged up and he's so old, dude. The re-injury risk is much higher. Again, I'm not a doctor, but just from playing fantasy for a long time, you kind of see like these older guys get banged up, right? His shoulder and toe is messing with them. If he gets knocked out of the game again with the shoulder and toe injury, is anyone going to be shocked? No. So that's for me. Genty or Monagai? Genty scares me. Yeah, see, I get Genty scaring you because of the matchup, but Swift is playing. From every report I have read, Kyle Monagai is not even guaranteed to get 5 touches. Like, I'm just gonna read you guys Kyle Monenge stats. Let's just player profile. I am as much of a doctor as Sims. Facts, dude. Facts. Okay. As Sims. That's actually funny too. Okay, so Kyle Monenge, week 7, right? Up against the Saints, right? He has 13 carries, 3 in the red zone, 2 receptions on 3 targets, 94 total yards and a touchdown, right? So he has 13 carries, 2 receptions, 94 all-purpose yards and a touchdown, right? So you're thinking, okay, up against the Ravens, good matchup. He had 15 touches. We're going to give him at least 10. He gets 7 for 24 yards. Right? And he dominates against the Bengals. And yeah, I'll give him the credit, right? That was good. That was a good game. Swift practiced in full. Yes. DeAndre Swift, Roto World. I'm going to read it out just to make sure. DeAndre Swift. I was going Roto World, just so you guys know. That's where I find all my news. If I miss it on Twitter. Groin upgraded to full. Yeah, so I think this is very much the DeAndre Swift show. Again, could Kyle Monangai get more touches? Yes. Could he have carved out more piece of the pie? Yes. Did he carve out the whole fucking pie, though, like he got last week? No. Genty is getting the full pie, pause, right? He's getting it all. Will it work? I don't know, right? I wouldn't bet my think so, but again, there's not a lot of news about it yet. Make sure you guys are on the Discord. Washington after this week, no more Washington. Drake May and Pittman for Kyron when I have Bo Nix on my bench. I would want more than Kyron, if I'm being honest with you. I would want more than Kyron. Nix or Herbert? I would go Nick. Oh, Nix or Herbert. I think we'll go Nix, but I'm just gonna double check. Nope, I got Herbert at 4. I'm going Herbert. Laporta or Gadsden, Franklin or Dobbs. I would go Franklin or Dobbs. These are some good ass questions. Like, these are not like layup questions. Like, a lot of the times people will ask layup questions. I got Franklin 28, Dobbs 29. I'd go Franklin. McCarthy or Mariota? I would go McCarthy. Diggs, Sutton, Wandale, or Monagai? I would go Sutton. Henderson or DK? I'm going DK. I'm going back to the well with DK again. He was so consistent this season. One down game doesn't turn me off to him. Obviously, that was a really bad game, so I get it, but I'm not worried about it. I ain't worried about it. We're going to ban this guy. Get banned. Mr. Kurgazo. Thank you for the super chat. Mr. Kurgazo. Yeah. Who should I put in the flex spot? ETN, Kamara, Jameson Williams, Alec Pierce, or Mark Andrews? Great question. Man, see, Jameson Williams, a lot of people are probably going to end up falling for the Jameson Williams trap this week. Oh my gosh, it's such a great matchup up against the Commanders. But the way that Jameson Williams has a good game is they are losing or it is a firefight and they have to just shuck it up. Just say, F it, throw it up, and that'll work. But yeah, this is not the kind of game where you have to pick a guy and let it fly and throw it up. This is the kind of game where you just roll the windows down, cruise to victory, and JMO gets like maybe 3 fantasy points. Now, obviously, in any season, any game, he could score 1 million fantasy points. I get it, but I would prefer not to have to deal with that. I'm just gonna go with ETN. He feels like the safest option. He scored last week. Or no, he didn't score last week. I apologize. Byshaw Tootin scored last week, but he looked good last week. And he's just a reliable piece for your fantasy team. He's going up against the Texans, which, isn't the best matchup. I get it. It's the 20th best matchup. But they don't have Davis Mills, so they'll probably be down. The Jaguars should be winning. They'll be in control to run the rock. I love Alec Pierce as much as the next guy, and I also like Mark Andrews. Kamara and J-Mo aren't even a part of the question. Neither would be Mark Andrews. It's basically just ETN or Alec Pierce. I would just feel better about ETN. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Yeah, Alvin Kamara has been trash. It's, I thought that maybe he just had one more season in him, man. He didn't look great last year, but he was getting so many targets. And the reason why I liked him in fantasy drafts was because I thought he was going to get a lot of targets, and he just isn't. So I'm fine being wrong. He isn't getting the targets. It's okay. It's okay. It is what it is. It wasn't like he was like a super early round pick that I whiffed on, but it does suck that I touted him and then they just aren't throwing the ball to him. But yeah, he does suck. I'll agree with you on that. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. Start 1. Zacchaeus, Pop Douglas, Tillman, Horton, Mooney. I'm going to go Pop Douglas. Rome, White, Olave. Who do I flex? I'm playing Rome, man. You can't sit Rome. Cannot sit Rome. Baker or JJ Baker. I'm starting Harvey over Kamara this week. I agree with that. AJ Brown, Adunze, Flowers, Franklin, pick 3. I'm gonna go Adunze, AJ Brown, and Flowers. AJ Brown, Sutton, Pittman can only start 2. I'm going Sutton and Pittman. Debo, Jennings, or Allen. Debo, Jennings, or Allen. Good question. Going Allen and Debo. My season is over. Dobbins is about to give me 7 points, huh? I apologize for that. Sucks, dude. Fantasy football is so fun, right? The summer is so fun. You have like all these. You're so hopeful, right, for your season, and couple injuries, couple bad games, and you're just screwed. That's just how fantasy goes. But fantasy football is fun. That's why I play in a couple of leagues, because even if the injury bug gets you in one league, you might still be able to, might be able to survive out of that in a couple other leagues. Unless you're like my dad, who plays in a bunch of different leagues and just drafts the same players in every single league, and then like a couple guys go down and his whole season is fucking ruined, and they never learns from it. Happened a couple years ago for him. He drafted Kyler on every team, and then Kyler went down. And then he did the same thing this year. He drafted Jaden Daniels on every team, and then spoiler, Jaden Daniels is hurt, and his teams aren't doing well. Aaron Jones or Monoguy, Aaron Jones if he plays. The Recovery 716, my man. Thank you for the super chat. Sup, NF? What's going on, man? Starting Franklin tonight over DK. What do you think? Also starting Slayton over him. Am I getting too cute? I don't think you are getting too cute by playing Franklin over DK. Would I play Franklin over DK? No. But I don't think that's one of those you're getting too cute. Now, you are getting way too cute when you are playing Slayton over DK Metcalf. Slayton doesn't have hands, bro. He leaves them at home. Slayton has been brutal at many points this season. So for me, while I think Slayton's a fine play this week, right? I got Slayton. I think Slayton's a nice sneaky start. I wouldn't say Slayton's like a must start. He definitely isn't, but he's a sneaky start. Slayton is a sneaky start, but not a guy that I am overwhelmingly feeling great about, if I'm being honest with you. So if you're starting both if you're starting Slayton and Franklin over DK, I think you're a little bit crazy. I think that's really getting too cute. Now, Franklin over DK is not getting too cute, but both of them is, in my opinion. And I'm not trying to come off as like some DK lover, because I get DK Metcalf has screwed the pooch, did last week, but I don't know. Something just tells me that a bounce back is of order. So yeah, I'm going DK over those two. If I had to start two of them, it would be DK and Franklin, and just get Slayton the fuck out of there. Also, I thoughts on Genty tonight. I'm worried. Yeah, I'm worried too. Let's be honest with you. I think anyone that says that they're not worried at all about Genty in a game like this would just be lying, right? You're just outwardly lying if you're not worried a little bit. Now, that doesn't mean you sit Ashton Genty, because unless this really is just a complete and utter destruction of the team, right? As long as they don't get completely and utterly butt fucked, you should be fine. You should be fine with Genty. So, sup, Nick? Is there any way I could improve my team? All right. So, yeah, I'm playing Genty tonight. Now, I have Genty ranked pretty fairly, I think. I have Genty as my RB 15. Now, I think Genty could still, even if they don't play the best, score, right? So that's kind of what keeps me from being completely off of him, especially if Geno does play better. Because if you just get like a mid-range version of Geno, there will be garbage time too. You have to remember, there's going to be garbage time in the game where Denver kind of, lays off the gas and just goes a little bit more safe with their play style, right? And a guy like Genty could even catch like a pass and run it into the end zone. So while I think being worried about Genty is 100% valid, I'm still playing him, right? You're not sitting Genty unless, of course, sure, you could sit Genty if you have like, McCaffrey and Swift, right? Then that's fine, right? If you have Judkins and Jalen Ward, I'm fine sitting him. But for most people, he belongs in your lineup. A Rav, thank you for the super chat. Ravens or Rams or Packers, Adunze or Olave? Great question. For the defense, Rams, Packers, or Ravens. I got Rams 8. I got Ravens 10. And I got the Packers 20. I love the Packers defense, but going up against the Eagles is so risky. I think I would just go with the Rams, because the Rams have been able to secure a lot of pressure, and they should be able to pressure Mac Jones. I don't think that's going to be I don't think any of those defenses are truly ones that are really speaking to me is like, oh, these are guys that can score 20 plus fantasy points, right? Like the Tampa Bay Buccaneers from a few weeks ago, right? Where they alone could have won you your week. It doesn't feel like that, but I would go Rams. And then a Dunze or Olave, I'm going to Dunze again. When a guy like that really gets 3 targets after being the wide receiver 8, you just have to think the pendulum swings in the opposite direction and he just gets a lot more targets. That's just the way that I would go about thinking about things, is that he's bound to get more targets. He's bound to get more targets. Um, yeah, I would go with Dunze. I just don't think you could sit a Dunze, man. It's really that simple. I'm not sitting a Dunze. He looked way too good a few weeks ago. Kamara or Tracy Jr., Josh Downs or Wandale, Daniel Jones or Drake May. Okay. Kamara or Tyrone Tracy is the most disgusting question of all time. The most disgusting question of all time. But I get it. I'm going with Tracy. Tracy is going to draw the start again. He's going to start. If he can just not fuck it up like he did last week, if he could just run a little bit better early on, he's going to be fine. So yeah, I'm going Tracy over Kamara. Kamara's just dead in the water for me. Just no juice, no upside. Like Tracy at least has upside. Josh Downs or Wandale. I would lean with Wandale because of the high scoring nature of the matchup up against the Bears. And then Daniel Jones or Drake May. I would just go with Drake May. Just feels a little bit safer. And I like the matchup against the Bucks. So for me, it's Drake May, Tyrone Tracy, and Wandale Robinson. Josh Downs, I really like, but 1 second here. All right. So yeah, that's the way I would go. Tracy over Kamara just because I like the upside more. Wandale over Josh Downs because I feel better about Wandale. And then Drake May over Daniel Jones just off of recent production and the matchup. Yeah, I think Daniel Jones will play better this week, though, just like as a general statement. Rate my starting team. Anything that I would change? I would play Judkins over T Mac. Russ looks good. It's like a 8.5, 9 out of 10. Very nice. D Schultz, Loveland, or Theo Johnson. I'm going Loveland. Troy Franklin or DK. DK. Can you pick my flex, Nick? Half PPR. Tet, Monty, Tracy, Brees. I would go Brees. Hey, Nick, question. Do I drop Alec Pierce and pick up Kayshon Boutte? This is good or bad? Also, 10-man league, start one quarterback. For your quarterback, I'm going Herbert, and I am holding Alec Pierce because Kayshon Boutte is going to be out. I straight up dropped AK. That's fine. That's fine. I think it's fine to leave Bowers on the bench for the week. I'm not. I mean, I get why you might want to play Kittle over him because the matchup's bad. I'm not sitting Bowers. I think the only guy I'm sitting Bowers for is McBride. The only guy I'm sitting Bowers for is McBride. All right. No problem. Yeah, if you have McBride, exactly. That's really the only guy that you could sit it for. So rapid fire any questions. I'm going to answer all of them real quick, and then we're going to get out of here. I appreciate all the super chats. Shout out to Spock for answering all the questions in chat. Make sure you guys are on the Discord too. Yeah, you got to play Bowers. You just got to. You just got to. Should I go Bowers over Kittle or play Bowers and Kittle? No, Bowers over Kittle and play Judkins at flex. Make sure you guys are in the Discord. I'm going to link it real quick. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Bauer's going to eat tonight. I don't know about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't know about that. But I do definitely think he should be fine. I think he should be fine. Judkins, Swift, Nico, Olave, Dowdle. Dowdle and Swift for me. Dowdle and Swift for me. Join the Discord, facts. I'm clocking into work at Nike. I hope he does. Would you trade off Bucky Irving? See, the thing about Bucky Irving right now is I'm going to be honest with you. I have no idea what his trade value is. No idea. he seems such a risky guy to trade for. And I'm not saying he's like if you have him, you're like an idiot for holding him, or if you traded for him, I think it's fine. But it's like, what is his value right now? Like, genuine question, what is his value? I don't know. I have no idea what his value is right now. I would just hold him personally, unless you can get a good deal. Thanks, Nick. Good boy. No problem. Oh, yeah. Make sure everyone hits that like button. Metcalf, Samuel, Kamara, Shakir, Monagai. You need 2 wide receivers in a flex. Great question. Metcalf, Debo, and Shakir. Good luck to everyone. I agree with you, Spock. Good luck to everyone this week. Should be a fun one. Hope everyone has a fun time watching the game tonight. Hopefully, we get a good game, or the Broncos are just going to fucking smash them. It's going to be one or the other. I don't think it's really going to be a close game, but it would be funny because everyone and their mother's like, oh, yeah, the Broncos are going to just destroy the Raiders, right? And then the Broncos just, lose, right? That would be the most football thing ever, right? Is that's just what happens. Good night to everyone. Yeah, good night. Have a good one. Have a good one. Hoping all my players do good tonight. All my Broncos. I have a team with just literally just all Broncos. The Broncos squad. Going up against Caitlin in League One. My team has been on a downward spiral. I think I've lost like 4 games in a row, 3 games in a row. Team's down bad right now. Let's eat those W's. Like the stream for you, dip. Facts. Hope you guys all have a good one. Best of luck to Caitlin in our league. Of course, I will be beating Caitlin. Not in that way, obviously. But yes. That was a joke, obviously, for anyone, that takes things seriously. Love you too. See, the problem is I say these jokes and I realize that some people might be new and they might think I'm crazy for saying that to Caitlin. I'm in last place, lost the first place by 4 last week. Yeah, it's fucking brutal. That is brutal. Fantasy is a tough game. I'm going up against a guy that started Dobbins over Sutton. And interesting. Interesting moves. Hope you guys have a great one, though. I do appreciate you guys. Hope you guys have a good one. I'll be in the Discord throughout the game. So good luck to everyone. I'll link the Discord one more time. I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys all have a good one. God bless. See you, Charlie. I appreciate you, my man. Have a good one. It's always funny to see that there's like always a few people that watch on Twitter that comment that you guys obviously can't see, but you'll see them in the chat down there. I appreciate you guys. Love you long time. Have a good one. Have a good one. No, have a great one. Laughter is one of the keys to life. So I agree with you, man. I agree with you. Have a good one. Peace out.